Keep it high, keep it tight. I'm Jay Morse, Review Guy, back to bring you another 5-minute review. This is the follow-up to my extremely popular video that I did on cattle decapitations, the Anthropocene extinction. They are a vegan metal band, so keep that in mind. I have to say that every time I mention them just because I don't want to scare anyone off by the name. It's an extremity. So, today we're going to be reviewing the album Monolith of Inhumanity. This was released 3 years prior to the Anthropocene extinction, 2012, on Metal Blade Records. Now, the Anthropocene extinction was a massive success for the band. It was their first album to chart on the Billboard 200. It debuted at number 100, and it was just a megalithic album that was of epic proportion, and it really set them apart from the other bands that called this genre home, this very extreme breed of music that was very abrasive, very aggressive, in the tendencies of instrumentation being very, very loud, and once again, very abrasive and aggressive. So, Monolith of Inhumanity took this band from a discography that was full of very gore grind and death grind influenced albums. Now, you had a lot of different albums in this band's discography and a lot of different EPs, but Monolith of Inhumanity in particular was the one that really caught a lot of people's eyes. Previously to this, death grind itself is a pretty niche type of genre. So when they released their albums, it was mostly in the underground scene. It was mostly in the scene that handled this genre predominantly as is. So when they released an album like Monolith of Inhumanity, it really set them apart from not only their past releases that they had pitched forth, but also the other bands that were in this genre. So Monolith of Inhumanity is it is an absolute assault of your ears. It is a huge, huge album that really it combines the brutal type of grindcore chugging. See, death grind, not most of the bands are pretty cookie cutter in this genre. They don't have much spice to them, much life to them. They're not that interesting. But with a band like Cattle Decapitation, they really take this type of style and bring it to the surface and really uncover it and ask what can be done to this genre, what can be done to this sound that can really take it out of its comfort zone and create a sort of atmosphere that fits this type of music. Not necessarily the atmosphere that you would hear on like a progressive type of album, but or band, but truly a different type of take on a style that had previously been indistinguishable from each other at times, especially when they cling more to the kind of gore grind outfit. So, with Monolith of Inhumanity, Travis Ryan starts something that he'd never done before, and that is the singing. And I put that in air quotes because it's not necessarily singing. It's more like if you took like a normal fry scream or a kind of high-pitched scream. It's hard to explain, and mixed it with this just eerie type of sounding singing voice. And this isn't the type of singing you'd hear on a country album or a pop album. This is definitely eerie. It definitely complements the music, and it's definitely still heavy. And it has that edge without having to compensate any of the originality that's found in the harsh vocals that complement these types of vocals side by side. And this was fleshed out more on the Anthropocene extinction, which there is a whole thing about connections between those two albums, and I actually would like to make a video just talking about that, how it's kind of a continuation of the Anthropocene extinction is a continuation of Monolith of Inhumanity. But for lyricism, obviously this is Cattle Decapitation. Since the start of their career, they really focused on the environmentalism, the veganism, war, and a lot of misanthropic type of lyricism. And it's the type of thing like they're expressing their opinions through music, and a lot of the themes that they do are true. And I agree with a lot of the points they make, and it's definitely a type of thing that you may not be able to understand some of the lyrics, but I definitely recommend reading along because they really are insightful, they really are interesting, and you wouldn't think that that's just another thing that sets this band apart is the fact that they're so different in terms of lyricism than the other bands that are in this genre directly. And they really did something special with this album, and everyone didn't think that they could top it, and then they did. And now everyone says that they can't top the Anthropocene extinction. Well, Travis Ryan said that for the first time in a while, he knows the album cart, some of the names, he knows some track ideas, stuff like that. And I'm excited to see how they follow up the Anthropocene extinction. And expect a video about the correlation between the Anthropocene extinction and Monolith of Inhumanity by Cattle Decapitation. So definitely go check them out. This has been Jay Morse, the review guy, signing off, saying farewell. Tip of the hat.